committee. I really have appreciated the perspective that she's brought and the guidance on some personal conversations that I've had with her. And I feel like she's a really valued member of the community. So that's one person I would like to nominate. Do we have any other further nominations or someone who would like to speak to her nomination? Councilor Andrade?
I agree that Maeve is amazing and should be nominated for something. But question, is the junior, I don't remember what the requirements are, but does the junior have like an age limit or something like that? I don't know. What is the age limit for it?
I'm looking now. I thought we had gone through this since he was my best.
It's 19 to 39.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I don't know how old she is, but that's my guess.
Yeah, no, I wasn't sure since we defined youth as under 25 in the city, so.
Sure.
I can confirm that she fits in that age category.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any other nominations for junior first citizen? Councilor Bisco? Nope. Can you lower your hand then? Thank you. So with that, should we go ahead and make a nomination for, we'll come back and vote on these, but I'd like a nomination for, does anyone have a nomination for senior first citizen? That's an age group of 65 or older. Councilor Lehman.
Yeah, I know he's already won a First Citizen Award in the past, but I really do appreciate the work that Dale Collins has done, particularly with the Park Advisory Board and getting all those survey respondents. I know we did a lot of stuff online, but I also know that he and members of that team went out into the community to solicit most of those responses. And so I think they deserve some recognition for that, going above and beyond effort.
It's a great point. Thank you for that, Councilor Lehman. I also, just in the spirit of thinking that it's good to nominate, recognize various folks, I also think that Steve Boggs is worthy of a nomination for his 16 combined years on the Planning Commission. I think that's an amazing contribution to the city. So I can nominate him. And Teresa?
And Carol Leach not only works on Parks Advisory, she works with the dementia. There's a dementia group she works with in Philomath. I know she worked with a homeless group in Corvallis. So she would be another candidate for, I have no idea Carol's age. So first citizen, maybe.
Chris, is first citizen for an unspecified age group?
So yeah, first citizen is that 40 to 64. So you're not the junior, you're not the senior, you're in the middle. So, and if we're not sure on age, we could submit for both, and then we'll leave it to the chamber to figure out how old they are. I think we just nominate the individual and go that route.
Okay.
One consideration, I'll just jump in real quick for Mr. Boggs would be, maybe he would be considered as the city's nominee for the Samaritan Award from the city, since the service that we're citing, at least with him, is very specific to the city on the Planning Commission, which serves the entire community, but really 12 years on the Planning Commission and then a little break and then 4 additional years that he's just completed is really quite an achievement and quite a volunteer service to the city of Philomath as an organization. So that might be additional consideration to still be able to honor him that way.
So we have Dale Collins and Steve Boggs both nominated for senior first citizen at this point. So, and then Carol Leach would be for Philomath first citizen.
Right.
And so why don't we go ahead?
I could write up Carol.
What was that, Teresa?
I said I could do the write-up. We need a 500-word limit thing. Don't we divide that, or does someone else do that?
I just lean on Chris.
I would love for you to volunteer to do that.
I would volunteer to do Carol's.
Excellent. So we do need to choose between, unless, is there another So we do need to go ahead and decide between Steve Boggs and Dale Collins. Matt? You're muted.
I think the city manager made a good suggestion that we have our organization citizen, and then there's the first citizen and junior citizen and whatnot. Is that correct? We can nominate, so we could put Mr. Boggs in one category, Mr. Collins in another category.
Correct. So, yeah, if you're looking at the layout, so the volunteer recognition form, we'd submit that for Steve Boggs,
Oh,
City of Philomath. And then for first citizen, we could do Dale Collins as the senior.
I see. Okay. That was not clear to me.
Yeah.
Great suggestion. I don't have any, does anyone have any suggestions for 18 years or old or younger? Future, Philomath future first citizen? Teresa?
I'm the liaison for the school district. I'd be more than willing to contact the principal, maybe at the high school, and get a suggestion if that would be appropriate.
Chris, do they have their own nomination at the school?
They would for just the school, but again, the junior first citizen, that would be a community-wide nomination. So if there was somebody that they felt would warrant it and the city wanted to submit their names, generally for the first citizen recognitions, you're either going to have one very strong application for somebody that's involved in a lot of different things, and they're just going to state that because they know about that individual. Or sometimes what happens, you'll have multiple agencies will submit the same name, and those will kind of get tallied up and kind of seen as that. So it can happen both ways, but generally if you're nominating somebody, you're going to want to give as much breadth as you can to that nomination of all the different things that they're involved in to help strengthen the application. So it's a little different than just, this is our best volunteer this year and we want to put them up against our ballot. You really look at somebody who's made an impact in maybe more than just one organization over the last year.
So would it be appropriate for us to reach out to the school and just trust their nomination and go with that, or per Teresa's suggestion?
Yeah, we could. We'd kind of want it you'd want some type of tie back to the city, like why the city was, nominating that individual as well. And we don't have to have somebody for every category either. If we can't think of somebody that's, like we had a junior member that was on the park board for a while, that was a youth. We struggle on that one a little bit just because we don't deal a whole lot with folks under 18 years old, but
yeah. Okay. And then what about a business or nonprofit? I was going to suggest that Dirt Road has been building community with their street parties, and I think that's of great value. I would propose them as one potential business. There's, I see thumbs up, and Councilor Andrade.
I have a question to ask after this conversation.
Okay, Councilor Kazi. Muted.
I'd like to suggest Bountiful Backyard for the work that they've done in organizing the Philomath Farmers Market. I think it's been a huge success and a tremendous addition to the community.
I can get behind that too. Chris?
The other name I'd put out there is Pacific Power. I think over the last couple of years, they've gone out of their way to make sure that seniors got their banners put up around town. And they've also worked on helping the city install our Veterans Day and Memorial Day banners around town on their poles as well. So that's been a nice service to the community, especially during COVID years, when seniors haven't had typical senior years and graduations and whatnot. So that'd be another name I'd put out there for consideration.
Sure. And Councilor Bisco?
So I'd just like to say that it is 10:35 and we agreed till 10:30, and perhaps next year we could do this by a vote by email first, maybe some recommendations, so we don't spend this much time on this kind of topic at the end of a 5-hour session.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I would, yeah. So we do need to vote. It looks like we need to vote on the business or nonprofit. So can I just go through the list and see if we can get a more than 4 on one of those? Does that sound good? All who would prefer,
List them, please, first.
yeah, okay, Dirt
Thank
Road,
you.
Pacific Power, and Bountiful Backyard. So all who would prefer Dirt Road, please raise your hand and say aye. All who would prefer a Bountiful Backyard, please raise your hand and say aye. And then looks like they would have won. So should we just go with that? Bountiful Backyard as our nominee for business or nonprofit. Great. With that, I think that we've covered all of the categories, and Teresa will reach out to the school district.
Oh, I thought that was a no. I thought that was a no.
Oh, that's it. Chris, what are your thoughts?
We can. I don't know. We had a real consensus there. So
What
if
do we
we,
think?
I think if Councilor Nelson wants to reach out as the liaison and ask if somebody they're nominating and want our support, I think that's fine if the rest of the council's okay with that.
Is the rest of the council okay with that? Looks like Councilor Kazi, you have a comment?
I have a comment related to the agenda.
Okay, 1 second. And okay, so are people okay with Councilor Nielsen? Just nod your head if you're okay with her moving forward. Looks like we had the majority saying yes. So, and then Councilor Kazi, go ahead.
You had added an item to new business, asking for a motion with respect to the LID, but perhaps the group should agree or disagree as to whether to consider this.
Yes, we can reconsider that motion at this time. So there's a motion to reconsider presented by Councilor Kazi. Can I get a second for that?
Actually, I'm not sure what motion is being reconsidered. I'm asking if we should extend the meeting to discuss this.
Do you want to okay, so should we could reconsider, but we can also should we extend the meeting to discuss the topic of 11th Street LID or postpone until a future meeting? So the motion, I'll make a motion that we should extend the meeting by 10 minutes to continue the conversation about 11th Street LID. Do I have a second? We have a second by Councilor Kazi. We have a comment by Councilor Bisco.
Mayor Jones, this meeting was scheduled from 5:30 to 9:30, and as a person with a disability who this evening is struggling with it, and you've asked for an extra half an hour, you are now asking for an extra 50 minutes beyond actually. It's discrimination, and I do not think we should extend this meeting.
I appreciate that comment.
I don't know that you do.
I do, I really do.
This meeting was scheduled till 9:30, and you have terminated meetings before at 9:30. It is 10:40, and you're asking for 10 minutes, and it will not be 10 minutes. I'm asking for this meeting to be rescheduled.
That I appreciate the fact that you have offered that opinion. Councilor Lehman.
Mayor,
Yeah.
a disability is not an opinion.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Lehman.
I think we could talk about this for 6 more hours and still not come to a conclusion. So I am going to vote no.
I agree. Thank you. Any further comments?
We need to postpone.
All in favor of continuing the meeting for 10 minutes, please raise your hand and say aye. Okay, all opposed, please raise your hand and say nay.
Nay.
Motion carries unanimously. So thank you for everyone's thoughts on that. I really appreciate it. With that, Chris, I know you had a staff report that you said was important. Can you just email us on that?
I will. I'll send an email out tomorrow morning.
Great, thank you. With that, we adjourn the meeting and.
Wait, I would like Chris to also provide an update in that email about the LOC training or the conflict resolution, because once again, it has been put off multiple months.
Sorry,
and,
Councilor Andrade. The council just voted to stop the meeting, so.
I know, but this
unanimously.
is something that we've
I hear you.
had.
I'm sorry, it's the council meeting's adjourned.
Good night.
I don't.